A brief warm-up here as we go into Wednesday, but Wednesday night into Thursday, the next surge of that bitter blast arrives in the bi-state area. All right, here's our weather impact alert. It's Thursday. Because of the bitter cold, we're thinking wind chills will be down around 0 as we go into the morning hours on Thursday, especially north of St. Louis. And in some cases, we may be looking at wind chills that are below 0. This will be the coldest air of the season, and it really sticks out here as you look at the 7-day forecast. This is the one day where the temperatures are the coldest, and, we're going to be looking at wind chills. There'll be some sunshine, but it is not going to be warm sunshine by any stretch here as we go through the day on Thursday. Heading into the weekend, temperatures do try to moderate a little bit, but there are still several disturbances in this northwest flow aloft that keep delivering that cold air across the region, and temperatures will stay much below average. We're 25 to 30 degrees below average for highs in the areas that have snow on the ground Thursday afternoon. But Thursday morning, we're down to around 14 degrees. It'll be below 0. These are the actual temperatures. Up around Des Moines, 10 degrees below 0. As we go through the morning hours and towards lunchtime, we do bounce back, getting at least closer to 20 degrees. Not sure how much above that we'll be able to do with the snow that's on the ground. That tends to keep temperatures down. So all day Thursday, that bitter cold will be here. Morning wind chills near 0 for some of us. You're going to need the hat, the gloves, the coat, extra layers for sure, especially the kids standing out at the bus stop, or if you have to be outside, maybe you work outside. This is going to be some cold stuff. Now, part of that's because there's snow, not only on the ground here, but all the way back up into Canada. We had a record snowfall on Monday at Lambert, 3.8 inches. So that was a record for the day. We've had a lot of snow already, and we're only, December 2nd. These are the numbers. Most of us did not get over 3 inches. It was a pretty narrow area that included parts of St. Charles County, St. Louis County, and Madison County that seemed to come in with that 3 inches or more. DeSoto only had 1 inch, Hardin 1.7 inches, Ellis Grove down in Randolph County only 1/2 inch. And as you went farther south and southwest of St. Louis, it was really hard to get a whole lot of snowfall accumulation. Now, it is, though, officially for St. Louis, the third snowiest start to the season so far. Again, that 3.8 inches Monday, record for the day, goes along with that 6.4 inches we had on Saturday, also a record for the day. 10.2 inches so far this season. Snow's on the ground, stretches all the way back up into Canada. Fortunately, snow's not flying in the air right now, and we don't expect to see a whole lot as we go into tomorrow. Clouds have tried to move out this evening, but as the low clouds are moving out, some other high clouds are trying to move in, so we're going to be hard-pressed to completely clear out, especially as you go east of St. Louis into Illinois. But temperatures should drop back into the upper teens and lower 20s. Areas that see at least a little bit of clearing, you have a better chance of being a little bit colder tomorrow. By lunchtime, we're in the mid-30s tomorrow. Clouds are on the increase from the north and west. Here comes that front approaching from the north and west. That is bringing the cold air back to the bi-state area. Also bringing behind it a few snow flurries, we think. We don't think it's enough to cause any problems here in the overnight hours going from Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Little, if any, accumulation, and it would be so light that if it did accumulate, it would be the kind that just blows off and gets out of the way. So it's not going to cause us any travel problems going into Thursday morning. These numbers, though, are going to be brutal. Wind chills close to 0 as you go out towards St. Charles and Wentzville. Going up towards Troy, 4 degrees, 1 degree below 0 in Jerseyville. Cold, cold numbers. And they don't generally move too much early on. By the time we get to later in the morning and towards lunchtime, at least we get back, most of us, into the double digits. All right, here's your Wednesday forecast. Clouds are going to be on the increase as we go into Wednesday. We should be dry during the day, 26 out the door. We have a pretty good jump early on, despite the snow cover on the ground. We're up to 36 degrees at 11 o'clock, 39 at 2 o'clock, 36 at 5 o'clock. Your next 10 days, we've got our one weather impact alert day right here for that bitterly cold weather. And then beyond that, I think once we get to the middle of next week, we're going to kind of steady the ship here and get back to closer to average or maybe even a little bit above average temperatures going into the middle of December. We've been very much below average here when the cold air started moving in on Thanksgiving. So actually the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. 39 degrees on Wednesday, Still in the upper 30s Friday and Saturday, but Friday morning, some of us will be down between 0 and 5 degrees, especially north of St. Louis. You can get that wind to be calm. You got snow on the ground. You have a mainly clear sky. You get excellent radiational cooling. So we'll have to watch that Friday morning. Some spots will be quite cold. Now, over the weekend, there's another little disturbance comes through. Notice we drop our highs a little bit from Saturday to Sunday. That means in that time frame from Saturday night into Sunday, there may be enough energy there to squeeze out a few snow flurries, maybe a couple of raindrops, depending on what the temperature looks like. But at this point, it does not look like it's a big weather maker for us. Other than a minor temperature adjustment, we're not anticipating any accumulating significant snow, rain over the next 7 to 10 days. Don't see it. Really could go out a little bit longer than that, and it looks like any precipitation would be quite light if we see any at all. And so that's kind of good news for us at this point, because we've had quite the experience here in the last 4 days, 5 days since Thanksgiving. All right, have yourself a great night.